2 minutes. That's genuinely all it takes for something that most people my age have quietly assumed is permanent, cold, heavy, poorly circulating legs to actually start responding again. I'm Robert. I'm 83, and I want to show you the exact 2-minute habit I do every single day because I think almost nobody past 65 has been told the actual mechanical reason it works. I still climb my own stairs without holding the rail. I carry my own groceries in from the car, both arms full, no stopping halfway up the driveway. I want you to know that up front, because everything else I'm about to tell you only means something coming from someone who lives inside it. Here's the confrontation I want to have with you right now. You've probably been told that poor circulation after 65 is just how it goes, a fact of aging you accept and work around, like gray hair. That belief is only half true, and the half that's false is costing people their independence. Your legs have a built-in mechanical pump that most people never learn the name of. Every time your calf muscle contracts, it squeezes the deep veins running through your leg and pushes blood back up toward your heart, working against gravity the entire way. Physiologists call this the calf muscle pump, or the peripheral venous pump, and it's one of the primary reasons blood doesn't simply pool in your feet all day. Sit for hours in a chair, in a car, in front of a television, which is exactly how a lot of us spend our evenings, and that pump goes quiet. Blood pools. Legs feel heavy, cold, swollen by the end of the day. For those of us also managing blood sugar, there's a second layer working against that pump. When glucose runs high for years, it damages the smallest blood vessels in the legs and feet through a process called glycation, sugar molecules attaching to proteins in vessel walls, something researchers have studied since the early 2000s as a core mechanism behind diabetic complications. Research has consistently linked this process to poor circulation and nerve damage in the lower legs. So you've got two things working against your legs at once, an idle mechanical pump and vessels already compromised by years of elevated blood sugar. Neither one is hopeless. Both respond to real physical intervention. If your feet burn at night, or go numb, or feel cold no matter how many socks you wear, please don't ignore it. I almost did. And I'm 80 years old. For years I told myself it was just age, the tingling, the heaviness in my legs climbing the stairs. But it wasn't age. It was my blood sugar quietly damaging the nerves and the circulation in my legs, and almost nobody warned me in time. If you let it keep going, those little signals turn into something you can't undo. I wasn't willing to lose my feet or my independence. So I started doing one thing every single day to help support healthy blood sugar and protect my legs. I'll show you exactly what in this video. And if you want the simple support I personally use, there's a free presentation linked in the description below. The habit is this: ankle circles, 10 in each direction on each foot, followed by 15 slow calf raises, rising onto your toes and lowering back down with control, holding a counter or a sturdy chair for balance if you need it. 2 minutes, no equipment, done once or twice daily, ideally including right before bed when your legs are about to sit still for 6 to 8 hours. Why does something this small matter physically? Because muscle contraction is the entire mechanism behind the calf pump. There's no substitute for it, no pill that replicates squeezing a vein mechanically. And there's a second benefit layered on top. Muscle contraction also pulls glucose out of your bloodstream through a pathway that works independently of insulin, something exercise physiologists have documented for decades. 2 minutes of movement works on circulation and blood sugar at the same time. Your doctor likely never demonstrated this for you. Not because it's unimportant, because a typical appointment runs somewhere around 8 minutes, barely enough time to review medications and check your numbers, let alone walk you through a physical routine. That falls through the cracks of a healthcare system stretched thin, visit after visit, year after year. I'll be honest that 2 minutes of ankle work isn't a standalone miracle. It works best as part of a small system. Alongside it, I take a short walk after dinner, when muscle activity helps pull glucose out of the bloodstream during the exact window it tends to spike. I soak my feet in warm water with Epsom salt a few nights a week, which some research links to improved local blood flow, along with a modest, absorbable dose of magnesium. A mineral research suggests a meaningful share of people with type 2 diabetes run low on. And I keep my bedroom cool at night, supporting the hormone rhythm involved in overnight blood sugar regulation. These days, I sleep through entire nights without waking to shake feeling back into a leg gone stiff and cold. I still drive myself across town to see old friends, something a lot of people my age have quietly given up. A man named Odell Ferris wrote to me a few months back. 69 years old, a retired bus mechanic from Cincinnati, diabetic for 15 years and counting. He told me his legs felt like wearing wet concrete boots by evening, every single day, for years on end, no matter what shoes he had on. He started the ankle circles and calf raises twice daily, added the evening walk, and 6 weeks later wrote that the heaviness had noticeably eased, especially by bedtime. Not gone completely, but different enough that he noticed it himself, without me having to ask him to look for it. I share his story as an honest example, not a guarantee. Every body is different, and this works alongside medical care, never instead of it, and never as a substitute for whatever your own doctor has already put you on. Let me get specific about form, because sloppy movement gives you less than half the benefit. For the ankle circles, lift one foot a few inches off the floor, point your toes gently, and rotate slowly and deliberately from the ankle joint, not fast flicking, a full controlled circle. 10 clockwise, 10 counterclockwise, then switch to the other foot. For the calf raises, stand with your feet hip-width apart, hold a countertop or the back of a sturdy chair for balance, and rise up onto the balls of both feet as high as is comfortable. Pause briefly at the top, then lower yourself slowly and with control. The slow lowering matters as much as the rise, because that's where a good share of the muscle actually works. 15 repetitions is a reasonable target for most people, though starting with 8 or 10 and building up over a few weeks is perfectly fine. Timing this right before bed is deliberate, not arbitrary. It means the pump gets activated in the minutes right before your legs go completely still for 6, 7, 8 hours straight. The exact stretch where blood tends to pool the longest and circulation matters most. Some people find it easier to do the routine while brushing their teeth, so it attaches to something they already do without thinking, rather than becoming one more thing to remember. I also do a second, shorter round in the late morning, usually while waiting for coffee to brew, because mornings after a night of stillness are another point where legs tend to feel stiff and slow. It's not required, the bedtime routine alone gives most of the benefit, but I found the extra round helps me feel steadier heading into the busiest part of my day. None of this replaces what your doctor has prescribed. If your legs have felt heavy, cold, or slow to warm for a while now, that's worth mentioning at your next visit, not as a replacement for your treatment plan, but as something to add to the same conversation. I think a great deal about people my age who are still out walking their neighborhoods, still carrying their own bags up the stairs, still driving themselves wherever they need to go, and the ones who've stopped, who've handed those small freedoms over to someone else. The gap between those two groups is rarely dramatic. It's 2 minutes repeated daily that either happened or didn't. I've watched friends my age slowly stop trusting their own legs, one small avoidance at a time, skipping the stairs for the elevator, asking someone else to carry the groceries, sitting out the walk around the block. Each choice feels small and reasonable in the moment. Strung together over months, they add up to a body that forgets how to move, simply because it was never asked to. It's not too late for your legs to respond. That pump is still there, still built into your body, whether or not it's been asked to work in years. Muscle doesn't forget how to contract just because it's been given permission to rest for a decade. It simply waits to be asked again, and 2 minutes is a small enough ask that almost nobody has a real excuse to skip it. If you made it this far, you already understand more about your own legs than most people your age ever will. That matters. You know now that the burning, the numbness, the cold feet, they trace back to one thing: blood sugar slowly working against your nerves and circulation. And you know the goal isn't a miracle. It's protecting your ability to stand, to walk, to stay independent. That's why, alongside everything I showed you today, I use a simple daily support to help keep my blood sugar in a healthy range, so my legs keep carrying me where I want to go. I put the free presentation in the description below. Go watch it. And as always, keep working with your doctor. This supports your routine. It doesn't replace it. Try it tonight, before bed, And tell me in the comments how your legs feel by tomorrow morning compared to how they usually feel. I read every one. And if this made sense to you, subscribe, because there's more of this coming.